What do y'all do when life gets hard? Greetings. I want to wish you all the best, and I hope after watching this video, you will learn something new for yourself. Story 1. Truthfully, I go into a full victim phase where I blame everyone and anyone except me. Then I go full bore on myself because I'm so stupid and unlovable and it's all my fault, wah wah. Then I ask my brain if we've got that out the way and can I just accept that this is how it is right now, it won't last and that my belly aching won't change anything. My brain says yes and lets the adult take over. I mean, I try not to do the above, but that's the truth of it. Story 2 depends on why it's hard. Sometimes I will literally stare at myself in the mirror and give myself a pep talk. But usually I would have a me day, close off the world, 3-hour-long bath, few glasses of wine, music on loud, I'm talking face masks, candles the works, literally zone the world out. Is everything okay with you, OP? Story 3. Pray, work out, break down my problems into to-do lists where each point is a smaller, more manageable part of the whole to do one by one, talk to my family, and if all else fails, ask for help. Story 4. It's like you're always stuck in second gear when it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year. Story 5. I go out and watch the sunsets or the sky in general and try and zoom out of whatever I'm facing right in front of me at that moment. In that moment, I do this odd thing where I kind of talk to the future version of myself who's on the other side of the challenge I'm facing, and imagine they just say, "You'll be good, don't stress," just to give myself some encouragement. This has especially helped because sometimes I just don't have anyone to talk to about what I got going on. So I came up with the idea of talking to my future self. Sure, most of this is imaginary, but it still helps me on some sort of level. Take a couple of deep breaths and walk home and rest for that day and try my best to tackle what it is I have to tackle. This tactic has been working the best for me recently. Story 6. I focus on trying to calm my mind. I have a chance that I use it, says quiet. My mind this in an attempt to replace those invasive inner thoughts that bother me. The other thing I do is really try to focus on my breathing. Sometimes I will get up and work on my kitchen, cleaning dishes, washing the floor, etc. Occupying myself physically helped me distract myself mentally. Story 7. Drink. It's the only thing that shuts my brain down. I couldn't care less at this point if it's unhealthy. It's better than sitting around all evening stone sober and feeling so down and anxious that I can't focus on enjoy anything. Story 8. Decide to be fine until the end of the week. Make yourself smile because you're alive and that's your job. Then do it again the next week. I call it being professional. Do it right, with a smile, or don't do it. Story 9. Whenever life gets hard, I thought of leaving all the things behind for a few days and go to a trip without money and without carrying mobile phone, just me and my small bag of clothes. I'd even plan the tour, then reality hits. I jerk off and get back to the normal life. Story 10. There's a folklore in my area that translates to, a king once asked his advisor to tell him something which would make him sad in good times and happy in bad times. The advisor told him, "This time of happiness or sorrow will pass." And I think about it a lot. Story 11. I withdraw and isolate myself. I have never developed the ability to manage my stress well. Eventually my mind heals itself and finds a solution to my problem. This is a draining cycle, which I'm still trying to break. Also, music tends to calm my thoughts when life gets really hard. Story 12. Set short-term achievable goals and work towards them. If you have a long-term goal, write 5 to 10 goals that will help you achieve that to break it down. You can repeat the process until you have small, achievable goals that should take only a few months to accomplish. Work hard on them. Take responsibility for them. Having responsibility for something gives meaning. Story 13. Get sleep as soon as I can, if I can. Everything looks better after a night of the brain healing its psychic wounds. That doesn't mean that things can't be still shitty when you wake up. Some person is still gone from your life. Some failure still is holding you back. Some future event still looms. Maybe you are sick, or incarcerated, or broke. The thing to remember is people do go through these hells. Usually they still find good moments along the way. That is easier when you are well rested. Story 14. When I was younger, I let my life spiral, making bad decisions that only led to bad consequences that compounded my problems. Now I try to shift lanes into something I can control, and that will lead to positive rewards. That way I do have something coming my way that I can look forward to. Story 15. Freeze in panic and spend more time worrying about things than fixing the things causing the anxiety, which only makes me more anxious, and I end up in a loop of it, going around and around till I have a panic attack, and then just remain low energy and go to sleep the second I can, ready for the next day of where nothing has changed, rinse and repeat. Story 16. Do what you need doing. If you're sad, have a good cry. If you're lonely, seek social company. If you're feeling self-conscious, give yourself some pampering. If you're overwhelmed, take a day to yourself. If you're feeling helpless or out of control, focus on the things you can control, even if that is something as minor as doing the dishes. Story 17. I like to hang out with my friends. They are always there for me when I'm crumbling down. I have arthritis and have to take 2 pills. I have a problem where I sometimes throw them up. I don't want to throw up, but it just happens. I'm a minor, so I live with my mom, and she threatened to send me to a therapist and to put me up for adoption, and saying she will go far away to find a job. Last time she kicked me out of the house at night, but luckily she let me in after a few minutes. I can share my problems with my friends, and they always hear me out and try to help me. I used to not want to go to a therapist because I thought she would send me to an asylum, but now I will probably accept. I'm grateful for my friends, but it helps if you custom to music. I find it relaxing. Story 18. Unfortunately, I disassociate. It's a trauma response from growing up in an abusive home. I sometimes also go into what they call a functional freeze state, when things get too overwhelming or stressful. It's honestly a horrible way to try to live, and I am in trauma therapy, but it's a slow process. Story 19. I usually turn to my hobbies. Either play an old video game I really love, or crank some music or strum a few chords. Playing like a puzzle game or something helps me get my mind off things and find solutions. I've been working harder on recognizing when I'm in a bad mood or approaching one, and it helps a lot. If I know it, I can even allow myself to wallow a tad, but knowing full well that it can't be a permanent thing. That part is much easier said than done, and takes a long time. I wish you the best and that you can heal from whatever you're going through. Story 20. Run away. I always run away, possibly a toxic trait. I go to Skyscanner and book the cheapest flight one way. I'm currently having a hard time in Egypt, so I found a flight to Albania for $65 and a hotel for $8. A month in a new city always helps. Story 21. I've got a punching bag that I swing at for a few hours until I'm drained, then drag myself to the shower and collapse until I have the energy to drag myself to my bed or bedroom floor and sleep. Story 22. Be close to family. I used to keep all my struggles and carry it all by myself, but have realized I have supportive and loving family, and it's okay to be vulnerable and ask for advice or help when I need to. And this goes both ways. We've been working on cultivating an environment of openness, acceptance, and safe space for everyone to feel okay to reach out. We weren't always like this, but we're learning. Story 23. I just remember that nobody has it figured out all the time. What society requires of us is too much for most people to thrive. I cut back on everything except the stuff that's necessary to survive, and I rest as much as I can. I go easy on myself about not living up to my usual standard at work. I'm not a robot, and that's actually what makes me so good at my job. Story 24. Depends on how hard is hard. For me, if life gets hard, I probably need to talk to therapist, psychiatrist. Did I take my medicine? Medicating and working out is my best go-tos. Story 25. I cook healthy food at home. I get outside and I exercise. I get outdoors. I reach out to loved ones. I protect my sleep like a safety deposit box. When all that wasn't enough, I started on an antidepressant. It changed my life. Story 26. Meditate, walk in the park, dance like no one is watching. Remind myself that this too shall pass, and that after the hard times come good times, and that statement is so true. Sometimes I dig deep into it to see, why is it happening? And sometimes I have an AHA eureka moment whilst digging. Or sometimes that doesn't work, so I'm digging in a bottomless pit. But hey, life is life. Na. Story 27. Make time to rest. Take care of my body. It carries my mind and will need to be as healthy as possible when the mind struggles. Avoid chemicals that take happiness loans from the future me. Make time to rest, even if it's just extra minutes. Story 28. Well, I'll tell you what I didn't do before that I do now. Reach out for help. I wanted to be independent for a long time and thought that made me good and strong. But you're so much stronger when you work with others and take advantage of all the assistance you can get. And whether you use that help as a crutch or a springboard depends on how much effort you put in. Story 29. Crochet until I can breathe properly again. I find that the repetition of it helps me relax a bit. And then I'll boot up the Sims, make a bunch of random Sims and name them things related to whatever is making life hard. Then torture them until I feel better and can think of ways to make life less hard. Story 30. I'd like to think I have a pretty balanced approach. Step 1. Talk it out with someone I trust. Step 2. alcohol or gummies so I can shut my mind off for one night. Step 3. Wake up early the next day to reflect on what my brain is trying to tell me and what I can do about it. Step 4 and beyond. I usually search podcasts/videos/books on the subject I'm upset about. Then I try to put an action plan into place to change my circumstances. If our brains are telling us that something is wrong, we should listen. But we should also be slow to assume that there is a one-size-fits-all solution. It's usually a multifaceted approach over length of time that breeds us the lasting results we need. Story 31. When life gets hard, much like the last few weeks for me, I usually surround myself with people that I love and do things that I enjoy. This can include everything from a date night with my wife, either out on the town or staying in and cooking together, hanging out with friends, long evening walks, a little bit of retail therapy, a model train show with my dad, or sports hobbies. For me, this includes building a Lego set, snowboarding, going to the gun range. Also, cleaning guns is very relaxing too, playing video games or watching my favorite YouTube content creators. Whatever you can do to make whatever is bothering you not be the center of your attention is helpful. I find it very beneficial to do what I call tasking, because it's hard to worry about the hardships of life when you are concentrating on carving through the woods on a snowboard, focusing on shooting drills at the range, or searching through the piles of Lego pieces for that one small piece you need. Keep your chin up and your mind busy. Story 32. Different people use different coping mechanisms when times are tough. Spending time with loved ones, asking friends or family for assistance, or indulging in hobbies or physical activity are some ways that people find comfort. Others use mindfulness techniques like yoga or meditation to help them cope with stress and worry. For those in need of extra support, consulting therapists or counselors on a professional basis is very prevalent. Furthermore, maintaining mental and emotional well-being during trying times can be facilitated by engaging in self-care practices, including getting adequate sleep, eating healthily, and practicing self-compassion. The important thing is to figure out what suits you the best. Story 33. I accept it, the emotions that come with it, and the loss that comes with it. I take my time to enjoy the ability to have this opportunity to reflect, look around at what's going on, decide how I think about it, feel about it, and want out of it. Then I will move accordingly to those responses, because yeah, it's hard, but it's not going to get easy ignoring it. And if you know which way you're going, then you're already there. Any future with 100% certainty has virtually already happened. If I know where I'm going, then I'm already past that pain. Story 34. I remember that, up until now, however hard something felt at the time, I was able to get through it. I do things that make me happy, like hiking, crocheting, hanging with friends, watching my fave movies and TV shows, reading and journaling. You cannot control what happens to you sometimes, but you can control how you react to it. Story 35. Currently, I'm working on a project. Within it, there are easier and harder days, especially when unexpected things come up in my personal life. During those times, I take a little break, consider what would be most reasonable, or simply go for a workout or a walk. It might sound cliché, but this helps me. Story 36. Walk with some good tunes on my headphones, but if the weather is just that nice, I might not listen to music. Hang out with my girl and our dog. I am always rejuvenated when I'm around them, and there's nothing I can't handle with them having my back. Video games. Writing entire detailed RPG worlds despite never having an opportunity to use them. Honestly, at this point, even if I found a group, I'd probably still do it, as I've found it so entertaining and soothing. Lifting and hiking, again with killer tunes. Building and watching fire. Story 37. It is okay to grieve and feel that things are hard, but it's better to not let those feelings consume you, because we are all really resilient species, and although it can't always be done with a constant positive attitude, and sometimes we have to suck it up and ask for help, we can get through most of everything. Thanks for watching. Hope you are doing well. Have a great day.